Hey everyone, it's Joe Glines here in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, and Jackie here from Copenhagen, Denmark.
And welcome to the AutoHotkey short, long talk, something. We don't know what it's called, and it's
Yeah,
not any
ultra
of those
short,
things.
long talk. Yeah.
Right, yeah, because they always end up going long. Jackie and I were just chatting about stuff on the forum, and I won't go into what started it. Maybe that's another conversation. But we were talking about rules on the forum, and Jackie was mentioning a post that Joe DF had made. I think it was several years ago, right? Is that right?
I
It's
do
been a
believe
while.
so, yeah.
Yeah, and it talked about, hey, maybe we should come up with some rules, but the community should come up with them. So they've been adding to them. There's no hard decision yet, but Jackie, now why don't you go ahead and start explaining what you were just saying of what was in there, what they were wanted to say, let's ban. What was the things you were listing?
Yeah, I don't have the exact list on top of my head or whatever you call that, but the idea, it was a lengthy discussion about we should have some rules that were kind of implemented on the forum, and there was pretty good backing to it. But which rules? I remember having something to say about it and others having their say about it. And I think that the end was that, yeah, we'll come up with some rule examples and then people can vote on them. And then we can implement the ones that the community as a whole kind of elect. And as the ending point to that, before a vote actually was made, Joe DF posted a lengthy example of some rules, just to kind of say this could be some rules that we could implement or we could vote about or whatever. And those rules then kind of end the discussion. It's just the last post with a bunch of rules. So if people kind of go looking, it could seem as if it was the final decision on the discussion. Here are the rules, and within that there are more. It's a good long amount of rules, and the one that I was kind of getting at was that we were talking about different types of things, and there was talk about others around that didn't like how AutoHotkey was used or their support for gamers and stuff like that. And one of the rules within this rule set has to do with scripts made for gaming.
Let me read it. I think I'm on it, Jackie. Let me read it.
Uh,
No, the one in particular you just mentioned is no anti-cheat, bypassing, or avoiding any form of anti-cheat or auto-clicking feature provided in the game. And then there's a couple
okay.
more, but that one alone is just like, okay, that's that's pretty limiting.
Yeah, there are others. No auto login help, no bypassing of any kind of things that will aid you in bypassing something that's made to make sure that it's human interacting. So no captcha solving, nothing like that.
Yeah.
And
there was actually a summary at the bottom after his rules. It said, to sum it up, no hacking, cheating, and botting scripts are not allowed. So, I mean, that's like says it all.
Yeah, and I didn't start using AutoHotkey for botting, but I started using it for work. But within the first month or so, when not at work, wanting to do something at home, I had some few games I was playing, maybe Farmville or whatever on Facebook at the time. I don't remember what I was playing, but it was interesting to learn how image searches work and clicking spots on screen and stuff that wasn't really what I was working on at work, but still made me learn. And I was like, okay, I've often done other things in other games where I've never really been in a truly competitive game and cheated with like wall hack or aimbot or anything like that, but I have used like map hack in Diablo or whatever it might be. So simple things that to me didn't hurt other players too much. Um, so I didn't feel that it was wrong to have fun automating something I did myself. And over time, it just made more sense to me slowly to remove the tedious part of a game by automating it. So you have a casual game, and all games today are more about stealing your time. Need to keep people in our game so they become willing to use money to save time. And to me, it's like, oh, but I have this skill. I can automate some of this instead of paying the company money for what they call is a free game. They say it's free. You can download it for free and you can play it for free. The only thing that you need to do to compete is use your time. To me, my time is very valuable, maybe even more so, but I still don't want to buy whatever they call it, bucks, gold, rubies, crystals, whatever it's called, for real money, because like get 100 for $999, and I'm like, no, it's an amazing amount for some kind of digital currency that doesn't really give me much for my money. At one point, I did use money on buying in-game stuff, but then I compared it to how much fun time-wise would I get. So if I use the same amount as I would on a movie ticket, I would expect to get as much extra fun time out of the game for that amount of money. So if it costs a 10 or whatever to get into the movie, and the movie usually lasts 1.5, 2 hours, I'd expect my 10 to also give me 1.5 to 2 hours of fun in the game. And it did at one point, but recently, that's not how I see it. It's really, really become expensive to buy this in-game type of currency. And I'm allowed not to. I can just use my time to get the same reward. But then I could also automate some of the more tedious stuff. So when I get home from work, that stuff is done. I already have the rubies. I can have fun for 2 hours or whatever, an hour or a half or whatever it might be, instead of letting the company just take my time, right?
Yeah, well, let's even keep it simple. Like this says there's no, completing of a form. Like let's say you had to log in every time, right? So
yeah,
it that's the stuff where like you're not even quote unquote cheating, right? In that sense, you're just speeding up a process that has nothing to do with the competition side of things. But I do actually, I wanted to touch a bit more on the whole thing about cheating in any way, and yet these companies that sell basically the time or the level up, whatever, that's how is if that's available, how is that different than cheating? You're just letting people who want to spend the money cheat, quote unquote cheat. So to me, I'm like, whatever. But back to the forums rules against it. That's where I have the problem, right? Is like part of that, these rules to me are because they don't want to support cheating in that angle, right? Another factor of this is they don't want to be a language known for people that are using that, which for some reason, this is how we started a conversation. Some other people have a really negative connotation that if people are using your programming language for doing something like cheating, that's bad. It somehow reflects back on the programming language, which to me, like if I go out and drive my car and I run over a squirrel or hit a kid, It has nothing to do with the car manufacturer. I don't understand how they're tying. To me, I'm like, the two are not at all in any way connected.
No, and the only reason I'm seeing any kind of connection or why people can have bad reaction to the AutoHotkey language is because the forum has a gaming subsection,
Yeah.
or because people on the forum are willing to help others do whatever they're trying to do in the game. And coming back to what I was saying before we recording perhaps,
Yeah.
is that I don't have the forum numbers, but to me, from the studies I've done on the forum and the posts and stuff, it seems that a good amount of the people coming into the community are people who want to do something for their game. And it can be almost anything. I'm seeing the stuff from the Facebook groups, I'm seeing Reddit, I'm seeing the forum, I'm seeing stuff on my own webpage and stuff like that. And it is sometimes very simple stuff, like
Yeah.
how do I send a specific key when I click the middle mouse button, or I want to loop this W every second, or and you wouldn't be able to say claim for sure that it's for a game, but very few work-related things really come to mind to have a need for that. So it's most likely gaming related. So for the most part, it seems to me that people new to AutoHotkey are coming because of something related to a game. And then some of them stay and move it into something else. But as a community, I'm not sure how many people we would end up being if we completely removed people from doing stuff with gaming, because you could always say that doesn't seem like a usual work-related thing to loop a W. Why would that make sense? And so a rule like that, nothing to do with gaming, how are you really supposed to police that?
You know what, Jackie? And I'm gonna say this, and it may not be true, but it made me realize. We were talking about another group of people who, and some program stuff, they frown on AutoHotkey because it's that gateway drug. I'm sorry. It's the gaming. Like people use it for gaming and for automation or cheating, right? I was thinking the main reason why they get mad at that is that they don't like the cheating. But you know what? Most of the people that have that attitude that I hear it from are programmers. They're not average people, right? And maybe part of it's they're more jealous that it's so easy to use AutoHotkey that they use AutoHotkey for doing it, right? It might just be the fact that like they have to some degree a bit of jealousy of like it's people come to AutoHotkey because it's so easy to learn, and they're not picking their language, whatever it is, and so maybe there's a bit of jealousy in it.
It's hard to say, and sure, one of the reasons that we're getting people who can't really program, who are totally noobs to stuff like that, coming to AutoHotkey to learn how to cheat in their game is, of course, because there is a low entry bar.
Yep.
And of course, also because people in the community are within reason willing to help people sending that W or looping that mouse click. Both because the community is kind of small and closely knit, and there always seems to be people lurking on the forum trying to help others. Like myself, I did it quite a bit back in the day. I was lurking the forum, waiting for someone to post a question about something that I knew just a little about, so I could be the one to help them, and in that way extend my ability.
Well, and let me add. I know you did this too, but it's also usually, I think, at least some of the degree of the time when people are trying to help other people, like you were mentioning you're doing, part of it is you just want to help them because you help them, right? But
Yeah.
part of it also is probably to help them, so maybe they start getting addicted to AutoHotkey and start learning it. They learn something about coding, and hopefully over time start picking it up. And
Yeah.
truly, it would be great if let's just pick a language like Python or whatever, said we're gonna support AutoHotkey in the sense of saying it's a good thing, because again it pulls people in, and after they dabble a little bit and learn a little bit, then we're gonna level them up, and we're gonna get them to switch to our language because it does X and Y, right? I wish that's what I think they should be, kind of that should be their attitude.
Yeah, to me, it's at least this self-amplifying loop like thing. I come in, I have an issue. I don't exactly know how to use the first script I find. I ask for help. I get some help on the forum. I get my thing going, and I can complete my work a little bit faster. I'm happy, and I kind of get hooked on what can I do without a hotkey, and I end up not knowing exactly what I can do. I don't have the needed skill set. I find, I lurk the forum, I read, I can use it for that. Oh, and someone over here has an issue similar to the one I had, and I know the solution for it, and I'll give it to him.
Or you just realize, you automated something in the game, but you realized you're at work, and all of a sudden it clicks like, holy cow, this is exactly what I'm doing in my game.
Yeah.
But sorry, and I don't mean to throw us off here, but it just dawned on me also how ironic it is to hold, AutoHotkey and whoever to say we don't want to support cheating in games. It's that. So why is it okay to cheat in the work? Right? Aren't we technically cheating? Right? Isn't that what we're doing? We're simplifying it. We're making it faster. We're making others that don't cheat, they can't compete with us. It's the same damn thing. I mean,
yeah. I've used that argument before,
have you?
and I've
Okay.
been shot down. Maybe not because I didn't feel they won the argument, but people are so strongly felt on games and the word cheat.
Yeah.
It's you can't cheat at work per se.
But that's what I'm saying is when you think about who you're quote unquote competing against, it's other companies who, or even your team, right? That you suddenly you get 10 times to 30 times more done because you've automated it. I mean, I don't see the difference. I think it's splitting hairs.
I completely agree, and it's totally, to me, it's like, okay, so if I can automate a task at work and do it faster than my colleague can, or I can make something that will help all in my team, and my team then excels over others, that's not cheating, apparently. That's just getting ahead.
Right.
But in games where there is another set of rules that a company has set so that the company can make money and you can have some kind of leisure time, then it's 100% not allowed to cheat, even though the game might not even be a competitive one where you don't straight up compete with anyone. I totally agree with no griefing. I cannot support cheats where you make the game less fun for others by, let's say, having an aimbot. So as soon as you see someone, your scope will automatically move to their head's position, and you just fire and they're dead. And then their fun is reduced. But in other cases, a lot of cases where it's more casually based, you might still be, in essence, competing for some ladder place in something, but you're not truly griefing the other people by automating your farm or whatever it could be.
Yeah, but the point is, it's not a or on and off answer to me, and I agree.
No, exactly.
Look, there's some things you should be able to do, and it's an ethical decision on where you stop, right?
True, and to me it's probably a hard one to hit completely correctly on the head, but everybody could argue that even if you get ahead for less money, then you're cheating in whatever game where other people need to use $30 to get those whatever units or whatever you call them, and when you get back from home, you have only paid for the electricity for your computer to make the same 30 units or whatever you would call it. Yeah, okay, that's a kind of cheating. But again, to me, you're just getting ahead. You're getting more from the skill set you have. You've saved more of the work money that you've made instead of giving them to the company. But then you're not supporting the game company. How are they supposed to live? You know what? They could stop offering a free game. Companies did that for a long time.
Right.
But now the model is, this game is free.
Get you hooked.
And if you want to be good at it, remember to pay us for playing it. It's just doesn't really make sense to me. So, all
right. Is there anything else? I'm going to try to truncate this one a little bit because we always just keep talking.
Yeah, and I keep rambling on and on about.
It's no big deal. Stuff. You're fine. I mean, we're all on topic on this. It was just, to me, it was a interesting thing of, I'd love for people to chime in the responses in this video and say what their thoughts are on it and about gaming, and should the forum actually prohibit it versus what's the right, how do you say that, not look down on it, but discourage it, right?
Yeah, I've always liked that the community as a whole discouraged all kind of malicious type of code,
right?
Where we don't want people to make or get help with making something that will blue screen their friend's computer or keylog whatever password people or stuff like that. That, of course, don't do that. But in general, restricting the gaming section so much so that it really doesn't make sense to have it, that I don't believe is a good thing for the community compared to how many other languages are out there that people can just choose instead of AutoHotkey.
Right. Yeah. I had something else I was going to bring up, but I don't know. Anyway, so please comment on this and let us know what you think. It'd be good to know what everyone else that watches us thinks.
Yeah.
All right,
absolutely.
man. Good talking to you.
Bye.
Bye.